Hey, it's Fountain here, and today I want to talk about a concept of celebrating life in potentially a new or different way, or maybe this is something that you're already, embodying and encouraging in your life at the moment, and that's awesome. So, I guess a little backstory. I have been volunteering at a number of small music and lifestyle festivals, most of them here in Queensland, Australia, but also a few others like in Northern Rivers and like New Zealand. And I really love a lot of the culture and a lot of the things that those events have to offer. I'm not really one that likes to socialise too much in the city, but I do enjoy camping and I enjoy dancing and I enjoy like learning things in a workshop and connecting with others in a different way. Now, obviously, with these kinds of events, there is often it kind of has a different culture, if I can say, yeah, if I can put it that way, in how to like celebrate life, which is lovely. However, from my time of volunteering and observing, there's always things that can be improved, which is great. And I guess I just want to encourage you, if there is something like this in your area, to go partake in it, or if there's not, then maybe get some like-minded friends together that you know that could really help with the vision, but also the doing and the actual physical creation within the three-dimensional reality of something like this. And I guess that's like looking at creating events that's kind of like festival meets retreat meets like learning and deep embodiment. And I actually have a friend who has an event. It's called Celebrate Life, which is really lovely. And I will leave the link in the description box down below to kind of give you an idea of this. And this was to happen earlier this year. However, with the current situation, as I'm recording this, we had to move it online, and which is, it's awesome. And now they're moving the event to September. They're also opening it up so that other workshops can happen during this time, which is great. So yeah, and it's a lot like a festival, I guess, in the sense of many things. However, it tends to be a lot smaller, and I guess I want to point out some of the slight points of differences, if I can put it in that way. And like with this one, I really love it because one of the main points of difference is that it's trying to moving away from, I guess, what some people might call toxic substances to more natural remedies, or encouraging people to cultivate energies within inside themselves that then can alter their mind or their feeling space. Because, I would be lying if I said that people didn't drink at festivals, and they didn't, they didn't do other substances at festivals. Of course they do, and that is also part of the reason why we see a lot of backlash within mainstream, I guess, society and government around some of these events, and they are very much on edge about it because of, I guess, the encouragement to express and experience in a lot more free manner than what is typically normally allowed at a bar or other kind of weirdly controlled environments, if I can put it that way. But yeah, so yeah, and the reason that they want to move away from I guess the toxic substances is because it's obviously better for our health, and then I guess if you're into spirituality or whatnot, then it also creates a better connection with those realms as well. And there's like a lot of different plants out there that you could that you can have that are very gentle and very grounding, and it's things like blue lotus and ginseng, like all these kind of herbs that you may be able to get at a herbal shop or a an alternative medicine shop or whatever you want to call it, and that can alter the states of like your mind or your being, your feeling space. but without causing huge detriments that often comes with other substances. You know, I don't want to go too much into the substances because I am obviously a little bit concerned about this video being flagged, and then the content's not going to reach as many people. But you know, I could use let's use MDMA as a example, and like obviously there's a number of detriments, if you want to look at it that way, that comes with consuming something like that. And also, I guess part of it is the fact that the quality of something like that has probably diminished since like the 90s, when it really became quite big. Fast forward 20, 30 years, and yeah, it's often mixed with lots of other things. I digress a little. But then if you look at a plant like sassafras, which is kind of very similar to like MDMA, it could almost be said that that's where it kind of originates from. If you were just to take like something like that, you're going to have a much more grounded experience, and the effects of it is usually there's not going to be some kind of come down, as people call it. I understand I'm taking a bit of a risk putting this kind of stuff in the in this vlog, and I also understand that sassafras is probably not actually even legal in countries as well. So, you really want to be careful with what it is that you are seeking to take and the legalities around that. And I'm not going to take any responsibility for you choosing to dive into that. That's on you. I encourage you to do your research. But one of my favorite ones is actually cacao, which is obviously like, it's, whether it be in a paste or in a powder or the nibs, it's from the cacao plant, which is what chocolate is made out of, and like you can have it in a very beautiful, ceremonial and intentional way. And for me, I find that like it's quite uplifting in the sense of my mood. It's also quite heart opening as well, and it gives me a little bit more energy, which is lovely. And these are the kind of things that events like Celebrate Life want to encourage, is people to have things like cacao. Or also the next, I guess, level is to actually realize that all these substances and what they do to us in the sense of our mind and our emotion, they're just unlocking little keys within ourselves, if I can put it that way, of things that actually already exist inside us. So we can actually cultivate these kind of mindsets and these emotions through our own energy work, if you want to put it that way. And there's lots of different techniques to do that, of course. But that's also another aspect of it, is like we don't actually have to seek outside ourselves to reach a certain state of mind or being. We can actually cultivate that within ourselves. That is probably another video for another day. So let's move on to the next, point of difference. I find with something like Celebrate Life is that it encourages you to connect even deeper with yourself, with obviously the others around you, and also with the land. So, you really want to be looking at cultivating events and participating in events that also have an emphasis on working on the land. So whether that be through permaculture or other kind of land care practices, that it's we're all here to have a party, we're all here to learn something, but also what other ways can we give back to the land and that which we are celebrating life on. And also things like this tend to encourage people to be more of a participant in lots of other ways than, I guess, if you want to call it like a punter. Like, it's nice to, I'm sure, to go to events and just observe and either just observe or, I guess, party or, go to all the things, the workshops or whatever, but also they want to encourage you to like, what else is it that you can actually share with all of us? And it doesn't necessarily have to be some kind of like volunteer role, or okay, I'm going to like, do the cooking, or for the group, if the event is of a smaller size, you might want to do some shared food cooking. But and it doesn't also have to be like, oh, I'm going to DJ, or I need to run a workshop. It can be just like holding space and taking care of each other, and maybe you find that there's something that you provide there that others would really love. So it's really looking outside of the box of like, what can I take from this, as to what can I reciprocate, what can I give as well. Also, the events like this tend to focus more, I guess, on the some more eco-friendlier ways of living, if I can say, like, you know, eating more plant-based, being sort of more minimalist, obviously moving away from things like plastic and whatnot, especially when it comes to like eating food. And also I find events like this tend to provide another sort of deeper levels of things like sharing like knowledge and wisdom as well. And because they're smaller, you can kind of create a more of a container and get everyone kind of on a very similar wavelength, if I can put it that way, in that you can kind of all have a collective experience, which is really nice as well. And yeah, that also goes back into creating deeper connection with others when that is happening. And I guess the most important thing is also like sprouting seeds in our communities from these events, you know, when we leave the event as such, you know, so really encouraging you, like, what is it that you've experienced, what is it that you've shared, what is it that you've received, and what can you now do with those experiences and that knowledge and that learning, you know, is there a way that you can then help, I guess, you know, plant little seeds in your communities or with your friends or with your family, to help them, even though they may never go to an event as such like this. However, you know, if you're able to go about your life in a more loving and caring and I guess knowledgeable way, if I can put it that way, then that not only just helps you, but that also has a really nice, beautiful butterfly effect on those around you. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to talk about, and really encourage you to seek if there are events like this in where you live, or if not, if there's something that you can create with you and your friends. You know, like, this is really going to depend on the resources that are available to you, and obviously the direction that you have available to you too. You know, do you have people that you know you could go to ask for particular things about something like this? You know, maybe you just want to create a little event of like 20 people, you know, or you could create an event of 150 people. So, you know, you really also have to start looking into things, obviously, like health and safety, insurance, and, you know, legislation around like what size events you can have and all of that sort of stuff. And obviously that's completely dependable upon your geographical location on this earth. So I'd highly recommend you do your own research in regards to that. But yeah, and if you live, you know, in southeast Queensland, Northern Rivers, New South Wales, northern New South Wales, and you know you really want to go to the event, yeah, I encourage you to come. That'll be, like I said, in September. At this point in time, though things can change, and that's okay too. So yeah, let me know if you've got anything that you wish to share, and you're welcome to leave it in the comment section down below, or any of the other social media platforms I'm on. And I also have an email address too if you want to send some longer conversations through that. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.